Like, what does it require to see something that is like a Maladon, like a spirit, like an angel or whatever, and what does a person do to be able to see it, and like what would they actually end up seeing? So, yeah. Perception stuff. What are the things there? There's one is what do people do, to put in like really blunt terms, because that's not at all what it would be, is what would people do, or how did they be, or something, to see something that is completely beyond the actual framework that they are in. And so what is, and why, which means like what is required of them to be able to see that. So like what's required for us to see something beyond our current state of being and perception? What do we do to get to meet that requirement? And what would we see once that requirement is met? To jump to a super deep version of it immediately, is the thing that we see isn't going to be like an object, like say ethereal elephants, like Maladon. Instead of being that, the requirement being met would mean that it's opening up to kind of like other, this is not going to sound accurate either, but like other wavelengths, but that could be also interpreted or like rephrased as like other dimensions, other perceptions, other realities, other potential things that exist. Meaning, the thing that one sees isn't going to fit within their prior realm of perception. Mean it's not going to be objects, it's not going to be events, it's not going to be other stuff. Hence, most of the time when people do tap into something that is beyond them, and they're not able to fully interpret because they're still coming at it from the framework of what they normally see, it ends up being something that is like lucid, but not something that they can explain. Like, not just because it doesn't fit with wording, but like it's an experience or something else. Like a near-death experience is something that a person perceives in a way because they met certain requirements to expand their perception into something else, and it's not something that they end up saying is like an object or an event or whatever. It's more like a different kind of feeling or sense or experiencing or whatever. So that's like one extreme of it, or one angle we could tackle this from, is you meet requirements, those requirements are opening perception. Perception involves things that are not like the five senses and thought and other senses like that. And that's why it ends up being really weird stuff.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, well, I had the thought, you don't often, if you see like a leprechaun or something, you're not going to see the leprechaun's handbag. You're going to see some kind of energy that represents the leprechaun's like essence or beingness, or not just an object that is like, well, I know that's a table. But then I thought, am I contradicting myself because we saw the hat?
Yeah. But at the same time, that hat
is more of an essence of a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you see something like a figure, like somebody sees a leprechaun hat, whatever it might be, a physical object, that is an energy in the sense that it's the operational framework that can be made sense of.
Yeah.
So
it's a representation.
Yeah. So there's a hat and a bunch of other stuff, but we can see and understand the hat.
Like there's got to be something, but it's not so tangible or so familiar or defined as like just any normal object that you wouldn't think is outside of what you normally see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like the mind does have to make sense of it in some form.
In some form that doesn't have to be explained in words.
Yeah.
It does, like, people will gravitate to making it something that is explainable in words just for their own sake, but also if they attempted to describe it to others, things will like re-solidify as each time they go over it. They're trying. It's like being categorized almost like into those little boxes to make sense of, so that it fits and the person can actually like look at it at all in their mind, like to examine it, whatever just happened. So then it like starts to take shapes, in terms of like even the feeling itself will take the shape of a certain kind of feeling, despite it being not something that was that initially. It's the only way, if you were to look at it at all, it has to become something that is within the person's ability to perceive so that they can carry it forward.